The ending of the Rajuta arc is finally here, and what did I think about it? I liked it. Not Rajuta, but the arc itself and what it attempted I can appreciate, especially for what it set out to do, even if it didn't deliver in the end. But I'll go ahead and get into that next week, as I plan to do a reflections video on this arc, having now read every act between Act 34 to here, Act 44. Welcome everyone to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin. As I already mentioned, this is Act 44. No worries. No worries. What a perfect title for this act, as it harkens back to the very beginning of all of this, as Kenshin recalls his conversation with Maekawa Sensei's concern for the future of swords and the thing that Rajuta attempted to preserve, fearing that it would become too commercialized and the purity of swords would fade in time. Yahiko and Yutaro's ending to this storyline is key in resting easy that as long as the blood of the samurai is inherited into the next generation, even if there isn't any blood being shed and is dressed slightly different, warrior spirits such as Yahiko and Yutaro will preserve this history. But we can get further into that after we do the chapter summary review. It's been some time since the finale with Rajuta, and the team is at Yutaro's residence to try and check up on him, but he's closed himself off from everyone. Yutaro's father is having a heart-to-heart with Kenshin about his desires for Yutaro and his plan to move into Germany in hopes of finding a way for Yutaro's arm to heal and get him away from swords. On the day of the departure, no one has any words of comfort for Yutaro, so Yahiko finally breaks the tension by attacking Yutaro with his shinai, urging him to stop sulking and to become better than his idealized version of Rajuta. Yutaro responds with the same amount of passion offered by Yahiko, vowing to return stronger than before as a left-handed swordsman. Kenshin recalls Maekawa Sensei's fears for the future of swords and feeling that there's no worries to have with kids such as Yahiko and Yutaro. First off, let's talk about Yutaro's dad, a minor character whose decisions had great consequences throughout all of this. Yutaro's dad feeling regret for selling his culture is his own pride as a samurai creeping in for the fortune that he's generated for himself in the Meiji. Him throwing away the sword to provide for his family is the equivalent of trading your drumsticks for a necktie. The dream is to make it big as a musician, but when a family and adulting comes knocking at the door, you have to make sure that you put bread on the table. It worked out for him in the long run, but he hoped that his son could live the way that he wished he had the guts to do. There's nothing wrong with this. I think Yutaro's dad made the right decision in giving up his sword, but it was his eagerness that allowed Rajuta to take advantage of him. By the end of all of this, Yutaro's dad is relatively the same character though, churning towards money to make his decisions. He used his money to hire Rajuta, and now he's using his money to move Yutaro to Germany. It's odd, but it's with the same interest, the well-being of his family. And for that, I think Yutaro's dad is pretty cool. Now, let's get into Yutaro and Yahiko. The story arc saving grace is the rival for Yahiko, the second student of the Kamiya Kashin, Yutaro. Having someone like Yahiko have a rival friend to bounce off of, leaving it open-ended for a return of this character, gives some much-needed light of hope for the future. Rurouni Kenshin arcs tend to end a bit dark. Jinne committed seppuku, the Oniwaban were massacred, but for the first time, no one had to die. The chapter's first half felt somber in that Yutaro felt utterly defeated, but Yahiko's actual attempt at beating the sad sack out of his rival is what we all needed. Having Yahiko express feelings of pity towards him the way everyone else did would only serve to continue Yutaro's misery. So Yahiko's backsided attack not only lit a spark for the swords that Yutaro so passionately loves, but also pushed him to live up to the ideal man that Yutaro believed in, becoming his own superhero, the way that his sensei failed to be. It's such a beautiful way to end this story that tripped on its face midway through its narrative. But this whole hero worship and the idealized version of this man leaves me with the last thing that I want to say in this video. Yahiko's advice for Yutaro to be better than the Rajuta he made up in his head is a lesson that we should all take with us. I think that Rurouni Kenshin fans could feel this better than anyone given the troubles with the author. I thought it was a bit ironic to pull this lesson from this story, so I wanted to make sure that I gave it a highlight. Don't meet your heroes. At the very least, Kenshin Himura is a fictional man and he can never do anything to disappoint me. This has been Act 44 of Rurouni Kenshin. If you like this video and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a like and comment down below your thoughts on this act. Share this video to anyone who might enjoy it. I haven't been on camera for 2 videos now, but I should be back next week. I'll see you all then.